Shalom. I'm Rabbi Michael Panitz, and I'm speaking to you from the pulpit of Temple Israel of Norfolk, Virginia. At this time, I'm going to speak on the subject of our unsung heroes and our singing heroes. And I offer these thoughts in conjunction with an annual program of our congregation, Disabilities Awareness Shabbat. A few years ago, the slogan, "No Child Left Behind," was much discussed in educational circles. Our congregation takes seriously the analogous concept, "No Jewish man or woman left behind." Every congregation that I know talks that talk. I'm proud that our congregation, Temple Israel of Norfolk, Virginia, walks the walk when it comes to celebrating the different abilities of our community members. With their permission, I'm going to share with you a little bit about 4 of our exceptional members, whom I will speak about in alphabetical order. Daniel Hecht, Joel Nachman, Emily Panitz, and Lori Shapiro. There are more wonderful things to say about each than I have time for, and you will add something precious to your own life in getting to know them better. Daniel and his parents came to our congregation from a neighboring one. It was not easy to make the switch because Daniel appreciates routine even more than most people. It is part of who he is. But his parents let him know that if he was comfortable here, they would be too. I don't think it was just the chocolate kisses on the pulpit after he and his parents opened the ark. After all, you can get those goodies in lots of places. Daniel recognized that we genuinely value his presence. One day, Daniel gave me his own benediction, a kiss on the top of my head. I was tremendously touched. It has been a great privilege to watch Daniel hold down a job and achieve personal development. Until the recent COVID shutdown, he was a steady presence at the Physical Fitness Center of the Jewish Community Center, where he is known as the Towel Guy. It was also a privilege to go to Daniel's apartment and assist him in fulfilling the mitzvah of placing the mezuzah on his own doorframe and reciting the appropriate blessings. For him, perhaps more than most, the benediction, Shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh, God, thank you for allowing us to reach this day. That blessing held tremendous meaning. He reports that now in his own place, he feels like a man rather than a boy. Joel Nachman also has that wonderful feeling. He moved a bit farther away from home to come to our side of the water because he grew up on the Virginia Peninsula. Joel and I have been friendly for a quarter century. He was a camper in the Tikva program. Tikva means hope. It is the special needs division of Camp Ramah, the Jewish camp chartered by our religious denomination. I was his chess coach. Joel plays a pretty respectable game of chess. I can tell you that. And he has as much fun in the 64 square world in miniature as do masters and experts of the game. Joel has also achieved much mastery of synagogue skills. I'm not sure how many 36-year-olds can get up and recite their bar mitzvah haftarah from year to year, but Joel can and does. It is wonderful to call him up to the Torah. The only guidance I need to give him is to chant a bit more slowly, so that those of us who do not process at his own above-average rate can keep up with him. Naturally, I could say the most about Emily Panitz, but I will exercise self-control and hold my remarks to a paragraph. Jewish culture is at the heart of her self-expression. Emily is a regular at worship, leading prayers either for an anniversary or, better still, just because, on no special occasion at all. Emily also knows that the category of productive is wider than the subcategory of waged. After completing her formal education, Emily worked for a decade plus in the world of the preschool as a teacher's aide. When that became too difficult for physical reasons, she still found opportunities to help little children on a volunteer basis. She also helps adults in a field that she has concentrated on more and more in recent years, tutoring them in the Aleph Bet and in the words of our traditional Hebrew prayers. During the shutdown of the past year, some students have fallen away. So if you are thinking about finally learning the Hebrew alphabet or of refreshing the knowledge you gained long ago, Emily is the volunteer teacher for you, and she has some open slots. She connects with her students by FaceTime or phone call during the quarantine. And she looks forward to the time when the Jewish Community Center will reopen so she can go back to being the Countess of the Cardo, holding court there and greeting so many members of our own community as she conducts her tutorials. Emily also partners with our congregation's own Bobby Fisher, an accomplished ceramic painting artist, to create mugs, Seder plates, and other objects of beauty for the home and the synagogue. Emily is truly a woman who is focused not on some purely abstract ideal, but rather on being productive and connected in the here and now. Her neurologist, the world-renowned Dr. Darryl DeVivo of New York Presbyterian Hospital, once told Emily's mother and me that what each person should strive to do in life is to fulfill his or her own potential. And Emily can bear comparison with anyone on that score. Lori, too, has been a cherished prayer leader at Temple Israel, both at Friday evening and Shabbat morning worship services. Before the shutdown, you could not go one full month without the treat of hearing her lead one or another of our orders of worship or of our special prayers. But beyond that, I want to tell you something about Lori that I cannot say about many people outside of my beloved family. She brightens my life each and every day. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. An early riser, Lori is productive early each morning, posting several songs that she herself performs while accompanying the vocal line with her own guitar playing. In the genres of folk music and popular music, she has an astounding repertoire. Oftentimes, Lori matches the song to some particular feature of the day. Sometimes her song choice represents a shrewd political commentary on the affairs of the moment, and we've had no lack of opportunity for Lori to weigh in on that score recently. I can also tell you that some of the postings represent a gift to me, because Lori has learned of a particular favorite artist or song that I cherish. So I eagerly open the Facebook each morning, and I go, first of all, to hear what Lori has put out into the electronic amphitheater of our Circle of Shalom. The 4 relatively young adult members I have been celebrating are examples of a larger group. Some of that group were part of our congregational family when they resided in the area and have now relocated. But I am confident that the next differently abled Jewish man or woman who wishes to join us will be similarly welcomed. After all, what binds people at the deepest level is not their abilities. In the words of the Yiddish proverb that our beloved Gabbai of years back, now deceased these 15 years, Dr. Harry Snyder, used to quote, "Alles in einem is nicht bekenem." All things, meaning all abilities, in one package is not to be believed. We don't join a congregation for the same reason as we try out for a team. What binds us together is not this or that excellence. What binds us together is the Tselem Elohim, the image of God, inhering in each and every one of us. We're devoted to proclaiming the ultimate importance of that image. It is not secondary to any talent or any suite of talents. It is what God has implanted in us all. How great is the Holy One, the rabbis used to say. A human king mints coins, and they all come out identical. The Holy One mints people with the stamp of Adam and Eve, and yet each one comes out a separate individual. Baruch Mishaneh Beriot. Blessed is God who varies God's creatures. Amen.